soybean fields from reaching their fullest potential. Liberty herbicide from BASF provides the freedom to use across the majority of today's trade platforms, including Enlist E3 and XtendFlex, plus excellent weed control and greater application flexibility for unmatched convenience. Experience the freedom of Liberty herbicide from BASF. Visit yourliberty-herbicide.com. Always read and follow label directions.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Beacon Insurance agent in Clinton. In studio today, we welcome in Ashlyn Burrus, who is the new DeWitt County Coordinator for WHOW. Good morning, Ashlyn.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming out and talking with us. It's good to see you.
Thank you for having me here.
For sure. Well, let's dive into, Ashlyn. First of all, your background. How did you come to be with WHOW?
Right. So I was a domestic violence counselor and caseworker through the Center for Prevention of Abuse in Pekin and Peoria. Then I was a foster care at the Baby Fold. I have a huge passion for domestic violence and just looked elsewhere, and WHOW caught my eye, and now I'm here as a DeWitt County Coordinator with WHOW, and so far I've loved it.
Yeah. You started in August?
Yes, August.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your time with WHOW so far. Just kind of getting introduced to the organization. How's that process going?
Yeah, so it's went very well. So I started full time now at the office here in Clinton from 8:30 to 4:30. I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the domestic violence program, and I help with order of protections. I do individual counseling, help participants get resources they need. And I'm just there to be that advocate for participants.
Yeah, for sure. I understand WHOW has kind of gone through some transition time, particularly in DeWitt County. How much have you had to walk in and kind of take the reins on what's happened there, and what's that looked like from your perspective?
Right. Yeah, there's been a quite transition. The past DeWitt County coordinator, I've taken over her spot, and now I'm trying to get things rolling again. I think there was some confusion about WHOW in the community, and so now I am there full time, 8:30 to 4:30, like I said, Monday through Friday. And our food pantry is also on Thursdays from 10 to 2. Also, we have a hotline number you can always call if there's an emergency, or if I'm out of the office, you can call our phone number also, and someone will get to you.
Sure. What was the, you talked about that transition time. Are you the only one in the office now, or do you have some help? How about that?
So I am the only one in our domestic violence program here at our office in Clinton, and I'm the DeWitt County Coordinator for our office there. We also have a retired senior volunteer program, RSVP, and there's a part-time worker, the RSVP coordinator for DeWitt County here in town. Also, we have a financial assistance program, and our financial assistance director, she'll come twice a month in the office, but we always have that phone number and email that they can always reach if they need a financial assistant.
Sure. Very good. Now, Ashlyn, you talked a little bit about all the things you're doing with WHOW here in DeWitt County. That hotline, I'm curious, are you the one that has to take care of that? Because that can become a lot, I'm sure, if you're the one that has to man that number, 24/7.
Right. So we have a domestic violence 24-hour hotline, and that when I am in the office, I'm always going to get those calls most of the time.
Sure.
But if I'm not in the office, someone will always try and get to that 24-hour hotline elsewhere, probably in Decatur at our Decatur location.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Very good. So talk to me a little bit about, you mentioned your passion for domestic violence. Is there an area of domestic violence or a type of victim of domestic violence that you're drawn to more specifically?
I'd say I have a huge passion with the sexual assault side of domestic violence. But I'd say all types of domestic violence, I've always wanted to be the advocate and support for people that are going through this situation.
Yeah.
But I'd say the sexual assault side of domestic violence, I have that more heart for that.
Yeah, more of a heart for that, for sure. Now, there's a lot of I don't want to say connections, but just relationships in that world. You know, you need to know law enforcement, and I'm sure Clinton and DeWitt County law enforcement has been easy to work with.
Yes.
I've heard in the past they're very easy to work with. Just how about developing those relationships, getting to know those individuals?
Yeah, so I've met with the chief of police and here in Clinton, and I've met with the DeWitt sheriff and the Farmer City police. I'm trying to create that bond, and I've met with the detectives here in Clinton too.
Sure.
I'm trying to create that relationship and connection with them, because I'm sure there's going to be several times where we're going to have to interact with each other, but so that they also know that they can always call Dove too for that help, and that we can have that relationship and connection with each other.
Sure. Again, Ashlyn Burrus is the new DeWitt County coordinator for Dove, our guest in studio here this morning. So as you walk into Dove here in DeWitt County, Ashlyn, you know, the first few months, how would you assess where DeWitt County is at in terms of its, you know, domestic violence situation is, and we get into the time of year where we probably start to see an increase in these things with, you know, the weather cooling off, people being inside. You know, families are home more because we're not traveling as much. Where are we at in this situation, you think?
So, I'd say all around the world, domestic violence is happening every minute. I'd say it's been very busy in DeWitt County lately. I think it's going to get busier with the holidays coming up and the temperatures dropping and people being more inside because of the weather and with winter time. But yeah, it's been very busy and it's very prevalent in DeWitt County, and mental health has been rough, and especially since COVID had started too. But domestic violence is happening everywhere in the world every minute. Yeah.
Do you think there's been an uptick just because of the kind of lapse in the overlap in coverage in DeWitt County with a coordinator being here, or is that not correct?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I think sometimes I think a lot of people don't know all the resources that they have in the community, but also I think there's just so much need for mental health resources and financial resources, and just times are tough right now.
Yeah.
So I think it's just been very prevalent and very busy right now, but I think it's gonna get even more busy right now because of the holidays.
Sure. Well, and if there's one thing I've come to learn about domestic violence over the years is that, you know, it takes, you know, maybe sometimes certain events or a certain amount of tries for an individual to either leave or seek help. So, you know, a lot of variables in an individual, you know, making that decision to, again, seek assistance or just get out altogether.
Right. Yes.
Sure. So, Ashlyn, as we talk here for this morning, anything about just your short time with Dove of DeWitt County, anything that stood out to you, whether it's about the organization, where we're at, you know, your relationship with the community, anything we haven't touched on you want to put out there for us?
I also wanted to bring up, if anyone in the community ever is interested in volunteering, you can reach out to me, call the Dove office. There are several volunteer opportunities. Since COVID, I'd say our volunteers have really dwindled down because of sickness, or either just people are scared to get out and do things. But yes, if you're ever interested in volunteer opportunities, you can reach out to me or call our Dove office.
What types of what do you need from volunteers? What do you ask of them?
We have a food pantry on Thursdays from 10 to 2. So helping with that food, organizing, sorting, cleaning. There's other, if you're 40-hour trained, there's different 40-hour domestic violence trained. You can help out with different things too in the domestic violence program.
Like what?
You could help with helping participants with resources that they might need.
Okay.
But also, yeah, so if you're ever interested in helping with volunteering here at Dove's office in DeWitt County and Clinton, you can either reach out to me or call our Dove office.
Very good. Now, you mentioned that 40-hour training. Is that something that is always offered, or are there certain times of the year that you have the opportunity to go through that?
Right. So the 40-hour domestic violence training, there are certain times throughout the year that Dove offers that. Also, there are also other locations around the area that do that 40-hour domestic violence training.
Okay.
But Dove specifically does it every so often throughout the year.
Sure. Very good. So again, that number to reach you in DeWitt County if they're interested in that.
That number in DeWitt County is 217-935-6619.
Very good. Very good. Well, Ashlyn, I'll tell you what, I look at the clock. We could use a timeout here. I know you've got a couple special things coming up next week, opportunities for folks to check out Dove and then be a part of an annual event as well on the same day. And we've got some other things to highlight. But in the meantime, you mentioned the phone number. Are you on social media? Can folks follow you or get a hold of you other ways? How about that?
I have an email. It is Burrus, BURRUS @doveinc.org. Also, Dove has their own Facebook page that you can see about events coming up or different resources that are in the community also.
Very good. So check that out as well. Ashlyn, let's take a break here. Come back with some more. Again, Ashlyn Burrus, Dove coordinator in DeWitt County. Our guest, more to come with her on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Looking for new Buick inventory? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. We have Buick inventory in stock and inbound. Many models to choose from, like the Buick GX, the Buick Envision, and the Buick Enclave. This month, take advantage of $1,000 trade assistance plus an extra $500 for Friends of Ag, all on new Buicks. Come see our staff for details. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
So you call your virtual insurance company to ask a simple question about your policy, but now you're on hold listening to this music while you wait and wait. Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and pick up the phone when you call, because you shouldn't be on hold so long that you memorize the music. That's simple human sense.
Call me, Jay Peterson, your auto owner's insurance agent in Clinton at 935-6605.
That's what it sounds like when a farmer opens a bag of Pioneer brand A-Series soybeans. But not just any farmer. The type who expects nothing less than the absolute best. Who sees our 3 bushel per acre edge over XtendFlex and gets excited about how big of a yield advantage they'll have at harvest. Pioneer brand A-Series soybeans. Number 1 for a reason. Visit pioneer.com/advantage.
Your own home without the maintenance. If you're 55 or better, a beautiful Liberty Village villa could be yours. This is Erin, and I invite you to come take a tour of our move-in ready villa. Click the Liberty Village icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Simply the finest.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence, and the WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, our guest in studio this morning is Ashlyn Burrus, DeWitt County Coordinator for Dove. And Ashlyn, we've got a special event coming up next week. A couple of them, actually. Let's start with the open house. That comes up early on Wednesday. The open house, what's this all about?
Yes, so Wednesday, October 25th, from 12 to 1:30, we're having Desserts with Dove open house. That is to find out community members are invited, and participants or anyone else to know what Dove has to offer, but and see what all of the resources and programs that we have, but being able to meet the different directors of our programs also. So from 12 to 1:30, that is next Wednesday, October 25th at our office here in Clinton. And then from 1:30 to 2, we're having a candlelight ceremony. And that is going to be to honor, recognize, and in memory of victims, and then the survivors of domestic violence also.
Yeah, for sure. I've been to that one a few times. It's pretty powerful. It really is. Now, you mentioned an opportunity to learn about all the services Dove offers. You know, one thing I've come to learn over the years is I always when I heard Dove, I thought domestic violence. And that was really where my mind went. And I didn't realize how much and how many services Dove offers. Speak to that a little bit.
Right. So Dove has quite a bit different programs. We have a financial assistance program. We have an RSVP program, which that is the Retired Senior Volunteer Program.
Mm-hmm.
We have a program called Homeward Bound, which helps with homeless people get housing.
Mm-hmm.
We have a BABES program that goes out in the schools and does prevention education.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have a Christmas Care and Share program that is around December time, and people can get referrals to get toys for their children. And that is at the St. Paul's Lutheran Church, where they have an appointment to get toys. And we work with Salvation Army and Toys for Tots. Also, we have our domestic violence program also.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of things to learn about it. And again, next Wednesday, you can learn about all those things, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yep.
noon to 1:30 at the Dove office here in DeWitt County. And all those program directors and such are going to be at the office itself to kind of fill folks in and make them aware of that.
Yes.
Very good. So put that on the calendar. That is next Wednesday. And how much are you looking forward to that? I mean, Ashlyn, to get out there and just get to know the community, see people. How about that?
Yes, I am very, very excited. I'm excited that there are going to be people from the community being able to come in and being able to meet them, but also our other directors being able to meet members of the community or maybe different assets to our community, but also just being able to have that time to be able to connect with others. And then I'm very excited for our candlelight ceremony, being able to have that time for October for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, to be able to recognize, honor, and have a memory of those victims and survivors of domestic violence.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Will that vigil be at the building itself?
Yes. So from 12 to 2 is that open house and that ceremony. So that all will take place at our office in Clinton.
Okay. What will the vigil look like?
So we're going to have a candle lit for victims of abuse, victims of domestic violence. And then there's going to be a candle lit for the survivors of domestic violence. I will speak about domestic violence. We'll have pastors pray. And then I'll just talk some more also. Yeah,
very good. So when it comes to, you mentioned October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Is there anything that the world of domestic violence advocates, those sorts of folks, are talking about this year? Is there something that's really kind of being dialed in on this year?
I'd say a lot of people are bringing up things about mental health. Mental health is a big focus right now with people with domestic violence and substance abuse too. I agree. But I think it's just in this time in October for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, it's just that time to just be able to have that time to be able to honor, recognize, and think of, and also honor everyone that works to help domestic violence to stop also.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things where, you brought up a good point where we think of the victims, and rightfully so, certainly so, but those on the front lines working with them, advocating for them, you're in the midst of those things as well. You're hearing what they're going through, and at times seeing what they're going through. It can be, I'm sure, somewhat traumatic.
Yes, at times it can be. But yeah, it's great to honor those that are working in the field and helping those survivors of domestic violence and helping for domestic violence to stop.
You mentioned the aspect of mental health as it relates to domestic violence. Is that oftentimes a catalyst to some of these things? Where, make that correlation for us.
Yes, I think so. With domestic violence, there always comes mental health issues, I think. Postpartum depression, or not postpartum depression, PTSD, anxiety, other depression, and also comes substance abuse at times. But the mental health is a huge issue right now.
Yeah. It's we hear from law enforcement all the time about the mental health, issues that we have in our communities and substance abuse. And many times those things overlap and, sometimes they don't. And then that, of course, spills into domestic violence. So, can be very trying, I'm sure. In the final minutes together here, Ashlyn, as we talk for this morning, your goals with Dove and the things you want to do here in DeWitt County. Talk a little bit about your future outlook and the things you want to accomplish.
All right. I think some things I'd like to accomplish here is just being able to create those connections with churches, organizations in the community, and being able to just have that relationship with each other so we can work together. Also, another thing I'd like to grow is our volunteers here with Dove, and being able just for the community to know more of Dove also.
Yeah. You mentioned the open house. That's probably a good opportunity if you're interested in volunteering with Dove. Come out and learn more about what that looks like.
Yes, I agree. Yep. If you are interested in volunteering, if you're free on Wednesday, the 25th, I would totally come to our office and speak to one of us there.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of opportunity to volunteer with Dove, it sounds like, as well. When it comes to just the programs within the domestic violence portion of Dove, I know at one point there was school outreach and there were, all sorts of community engagement opportunities. Speak to your thoughts on that and moving those forward.
Yeah, so I would love to go at times throughout the year and speak in the schools about domestic violence, especially to the teens. Teen dating violence is very common right now. And to know that you don't have to put up with it.
Right.
And you can also, that there are advocates here to be able to talk to.
Well, and a lot of times I'm sure teens don't even realize that they're in the middle of a domestic violence situation. They think, oh, that's for adults. That's for people that live together. They're married, something like that.
Right.
So making them aware of that, I'm sure is a challenge as well. Very good. Ashlyn, I look at the clock. I have a minute left with you here for this morning. Real fast. Again, just highlight next Wednesday. What's going on? How do folks learn more?
So Wednesday, October 25th at our office here in Clinton, for our DeWitt County office for Dove. From 12 to 1:30 is our Desserts with Dove open house. And then from 1:30 to 2 is that candlelight ceremony.
Very good. So put that on the radar. That's next week. Again, Ashlyn, just where do folks go to learn more about all things Dove?
You can go to our Dove website, or you could go to our Facebook page on Facebook, our Dove Facebook page.
Yeah, and again, that number for the DeWitt County office is
217-935-6619.
Well, Ashlyn, it was good to meet you. Thanks for coming in. We look forward to chatting going forward.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Ashlyn Burrus with DeWitt County Dove, our guest in studio here for this morning. And again, the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Network news on the way on the morning show.
WHOW.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomas.